today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you live from Budapest here, the capital city of Hungary in the heart of Europe. I hope everybody is having a great week so far. Hi Exton, nice to see you in this class as well. Hi Tunde. Hi Giovanni. Hi Lakshmi. This class, students, listening section, parts 1 and part 2 practice today. Again, these lessons, they're presented by aehelp.com. If you'd like to see over 100 hours of video lessons with mostly me and some other teachers, as well as 6 original practice exams and a fully interactive course for the academic IELTS, join us at aehelp.com. For the general, join us at gieltshelp.com. We truly believe that we have some of the best strategies and materials available anywhere on our websites. We're a team of psychologists and educators that create these materials for you to learn and improve your English and communication. This is aehelp.com here. Click that big red button to join us there. And for General IELTS, it's the green background at generalieltshelp.com, and click that big red button to join us there. Lots of students in the class, looking good. If you have questions or comments, just send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. If you're looking for our books in carbon copy, paper versions, you can get them from Amazon. Just search for AEHelp's Academic IELTS or GEHelp's General IELTS. Of course, you can get the digital versions from Amazon also. Tomorrow, we will have task 1 for members and listening parts 3 and 4 continuing from today's class. Students, we're going to get right into this listening. So make sure you have your volume up. If you have a headset, use it. I'm using a Bose speaker, which is quite good. I'm max volume. Okay, so my volume is max on my side, and I'm using my mic as well. So if it's quiet for you, turn it up on your end. We're just going to get right into listening section 1. Answer the questions. Students, please, please, please do not put your answers in the chat. Give everybody a fair chance to do the work, and we will go through the answers after together. Okay, Preeti, Shruti, nice to see both of you in the class also. All right, students, so again, we're going to hop over to the academic website here, and up at the top, just click on the My Student account to get us into the materials on the website. I'm just using the website for the audio here. So you can see we have computer-based exams, full online course, exams, workbooks, study plans, lesson videos. So lots and lots of goodies, and I'm going for this tab here, the audio CDs. Okay, and we're starting with test 1, track 1, listening section 1. So everybody get ready. Write your answers in a separate document or on a separate piece of paper. I'm going to darken up the screen so you can see all of the questions a little bit clearer. There we go. And we shall now begin the listening here. Okay, here we go.
This recording is copyrighted by 2 Think One Solutions Inc. and World ESL Tutors. You will hear several different recordings and you will answer questions on what you hear. There will be time given to read the instructions and questions, and you will be given a chance to check your work. The recordings will be played only once. The test is made up of 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to section 1. Listening section 1. You will hear a conversation between 2 men as one of the men registers for a football league. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example. This time only, the conversation relating to this question will be played.
Hello there. I'd like to register for the Autumn Men's Football League.
All right. In what town will you be playing?
I'd like to play in Chester, though I'd be willing to travel to Liverpool if I had to.
The man says he wants to play in Chester, so B has been indicated for you. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello there. I'd like to register for the Autumn Men's Football League.
All right. In what town will you be playing?
I'd like to play in Chester, though I'd be willing to travel to Liverpool if I had to.
Well, we have 2 spots left open on the team in Chester and 5 spots open on the team in Liverpool. There's a very good chance you would have to try out for the team in Chester. Are you a good player?
I consider myself a good player, yes. I have been to a number of the Autumn Men's League games in the past, just as a spectator, and I'm sure I would have no trouble fitting in.
Okay, good. So we will register you for Chester then. I just need to get some information from you, starting with your position. Where on the field do you prefer to play?
I'm a midfielder, although really I can play anywhere aside from goalkeeper.
Oh, I forgot to ask your name.
Right, I guess that's important. My name is Steve Trammell.
Would you mind spelling Trammell for me?
All right, students, I just realized I'm on the wrong page here. It's my bad. Just give me 1 second.
Right.
We'll restart the audio for that. And I do realize that that was my mistake, but that's okay. In this rare case, you'll get this second opportunity to do the listening. So I did notice that this is not the right one for us. So just give me 1 second here. And I will get us to the appropriate position. Okay. Just give me 1 moment to locate it. You guys are probably going, oh, I couldn't get any of those answers. Why not? Okay. We just have to go to our review test. So give me 1 moment to set this up in the book. Okay, page 45. Okay, here we go. So let's do that one more time. Okay, everybody get ready. You'll get a second chance, which will never happen in the official IELTS, unfortunately, but here we go with test 1 again. Here we go.
This recording is copyrighted by 2 Think One Solutions Inc. and World ESL Tutors. You will hear several different recordings and you will answer questions on what you hear. There will be time given to read the instructions and questions, and you will be given a chance to check your work. The recordings will be played only once. The test is made up of 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to section 1. Listening section 1. You will hear a conversation between 2 men as one of the men registers for a football league. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example. This time only, the conversation relating to this question will be played.
Hello there. I'd like to register for the Autumn Men's Football League.
All right. In what town will you be playing?
I'd like to play in Chester, though I'd be willing to travel to Liverpool if I had to.
The man says he wants to play in Chester, so B has been indicated for you. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello there. I'd like to register for the Autumn Men's Football League.
All right. In what town will you be playing?
I'd like to play in Chester, though I'd be willing to travel to Liverpool if I had to.
Well, we have 2 spots left open on the team in Chester and 5 spots open on the team in Liverpool. There's a very good chance you would have to try out for the team in Chester. Are you a good player?
I consider myself a good player, yes. I have been to a number of the Autumn Men's League games in the past, just as a spectator, and I'm sure I would have no trouble fitting in.
Okay, good. So we will register you for Chester then. I just need to get some information from you, starting with your position. Where on the field do you prefer to play?
I'm a midfielder, although really I can play anywhere aside from goalkeeper.
Oh, I forgot to ask your name.
Right, I guess that's important. My name is Steve Trammell.
Would you mind spelling Trammell for me?
Certainly. Trammell is spelled T-R-A-M-M-E-L-L.
Right, now I need your home address, including your postcode.
I live in Chester, of course, at 452 King George Avenue. The postcode is MS868P4.
MS868P4?
Yes, that's right.
And your date of birth, sir?
The 8th of September 1986.
Okay. Now I need your phone number. Just a mobile number will do.
I don't have a mobile phone right now, unfortunately. I can give you my girlfriend's number instead.
That would be all right, I suppose.
Good. Her number is 329-633270.
Fine. I think that's all the information I need to gather from you. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I do have a couple. First, when does the season start?
The season starts on the 28th of September, although your first game is later, I think. Let me check the schedule. Yes, your first game is October the 1st in Liverpool. Let me make a copy of the schedule for you.
Thank you. Could you also tell me how long each game is?
Each game has 2 halves, 40 minutes each half, so the game is 80 minutes long.
That's a little shorter than the other leagues I've played in. Games are usually 90 minutes.
Yes, our spring and summer leagues are 90-minute games, but our autumn league has only 80-minute games. I think it has something to do with the poor weather.
You now have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 6 to 10.
Okay. Can you tell me how many players are on each team? And I mean on the whole team, not just the players on the pitch.
Usually there are 5 additional players to the 11 on the pitch, so there are 16 players on each roster. We generally find that to be the perfect number. It allows for a few players to miss a game, but still allows lots of playing time for each player.
Yes, playing time is what I was worried about. I don't want to pay my money and then sit on the sidelines the whole season. Are there minimum playing time requirements?
Yes, each player must play a minimum of half a game, so you are guaranteed at least 40 minutes of playing time per game.
Wonderful. That puts my mind at ease. Could you tell me what facility we play at in Chester?
That information is on the schedule, along with the addresses of all the other facilities in the league. Here's your schedule.
Thank you. Oh, good, it states we play 2 streets from my flat. How convenient.
That is very lucky. Do you have any more questions?
No, I think that's it. Oh, wait, how much does it cost to register?
It's going to be £125 for the season, including all fees. How would you like to pay?
I'll be paying cash.
Right. Would you like a receipt? If you find that it doesn't work out time-wise, you can always bring the receipt back and we will give it.
That is the end of section 1. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, students, and make sure to check your answers in that half minute. Just going to stop the audio for us here, and then we'll go through the answers together. All right, again, my apologies. I had the wrong listening section up at the beginning there. That is very unlikely that that would happen to you in the official exam. Now, before we engage the answers here, students, just a quick FYI, so an important piece of information. In your IELTS exams now, you will not have this example in section 1. So, couple of important changes in 2020. One, this section 1, it's not going to be called section 1. It's going to be called part 1. Okay? And the other big change is that they're taking out this example. Okay? So no example for section 1 or part 1 anymore. They're just going to start right away. You have a little bit of time to review the questions the same as before, but you lose about 15 seconds time with the example. So don't count on that, okay? That's another change. Also, they're not going to refer to page numbers. So they'll talk about question numbers, but they won't refer to page numbers. So those are some of the key changes. Make sure that you keep that in mind, okay? So no example. All right. Question number 1. How many football matches has the man played in the league? Okay. So how many football matches has this man played in the league? Is it A, 10, B, 0, C, 42, 50? Tunde Adayemi says the answer is B, 0. Yeah, absolutely. Good. So 1 is B is the correct answer. Can anybody tell me why? What does the man say that makes us know this answer? So you shouldn't have to guess it. He doesn't say 40 to 50. He doesn't say 10. So Gunkai Ren, if you figured, well, it has to be 0 because he never said 10. He never said 40 to 50. So that's called by deduction. You can figure out it's 0. Yeah, very good. Hetul Shah says that he was only a spectator. A spectator is a person who watches the game. Watches but does not play. Okay? Does not play. So basically a fan. So somebody in the crowd is a spectator. So he says, I've been to some games, but only as a spectator. All right? So number of matches wasn't mentioned, and he says, I have been to a number of games, but only as a spectator. So B is the correct answer. Okay? All right. Number 2. What position does the man play in football? A, midfield, B, goalkeeper, or C, striker? What's the best answer here? All right. Looks like a lot of people got it. A. He said, I can play any position aside from goalkeeper. Okay. Aside from means beside. Another way to say it is besides. Okay. It means he does not play in this position, but he clearly says, I'm a midfielder. So A is the correct answer. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. So far, so good. B and A. All right. Now, this is a typical kind of question for part 1 where you have to fill in some missing information. So here, the man says, my name is Stephen something. What is his name? Stephen Trammell. Yeah, Trammell, and he spells it. So be patient with these, okay? So wait for the spelling. In part 1, they almost always spell it. So it's Trammell, okay? He says Trammell. Stephen Trammell. So double M, double L. It's an M, students, not N, N. For this letter, when you hear it, listen to that strong E sound, N, N, eh, N, okay? For the M, the emphasis is more on the M, okay? So M, okay? This is where you have the emphasis, M, okay? So N, M, N, M, okay? Hopefully you can hear the difference there, all right? Again, that's a good one to practice. So practice listening for the difference between the M and the N sound. So Stephen Trammell, this T has to be uppercase. If you write a small t, it's wrong, okay? Because it's a name. And of course, as I've said before, in the listening and reading section, you can write all uppercase, but not in your essays, okay? So task 1, task 2, don't write all uppercase. For the listening and for the reading, you can do that. Just be careful because it's slower and you can make more spelling mistakes that way. So careful, okay? All right, what is the postcode? So what is Stephen Trammell's postcode? Let's see if you can get this one. So what is Stephen Trammell's postcode? Okay, and Google's obviously hiding some of this because they're thinking you're giving me your real postal code. So I have to enable them. It's MS8 68P4. So MS8, again it's an M, not an N, so it's an M. MS8 8P4. The space doesn't matter for postal codes. You don't need to worry about that. Okay? All right. Any questions about these fill in the blanks? Does anybody have any questions that they're not sure about when you're doing this kind of filling in the blanks? Okay, so Deep Bandit says, how can we write the birth date if the answer is one word or a number? Okay. Well, then it's going to be only missing one element. So if it's just one word or a number, if it says 08 and then this is missing the month, then you would just write sept like this, okay, for the month, all right? But there's no way that you could write the whole birth date if it's just one word or a number, okay? All right, somebody else is asking, what about the postcode? So should the postcode be capital? Yes, it's a good idea. So here the postcode, because it's MS86, definitely I recommend using capital letters for the postcode. That was a good question. So somebody's asking, should I write a small m? Is that wrong? No, it's not. So small is okay. You would get that correct, but it's more clear, okay? It's clearer to write them capital. So that was a good question, okay? Shruti is asking, for a phone number, can it be continuous? So do I need the space or do I need dashes? No, it can be continuous. So you can write it like that, okay? You can just write it all as one number. So you don't have to worry about spaces, okay? Yes, Deep Bandit, you can write sept only, but remember, Deep Pandit, that September is a month and the months have to have a capital letter, okay? If you write a small s, it's wrong, all right? So be very, very careful about that as well, okay? Some good questions. So when you're abbreviating months or days like Tuesday, if you write Tuesday like this, okay, it's going to be wrong. You have to write it like this. Okay, that's correct. So you have to know your proper nouns, when to capitalize them, okay? Another trick that you can do is when you're transferring your answers to your answer sheet in the 10-minute, it's for the paper-based exam, you can make your letters capital. So maybe you'll write it like this on the question booklet, and then you have the 10 minutes to transfer your answers, and you transfer it like this. Okay, that's correct. That's wrong. All right, so pay attention to that. Okay, some really important information. Okay, let's keep going here. Let's get to question number 5. Okay, those are some good questions. Question number 5, you have to complete the table. Pay attention to the given information. The league is the Autumn League. It's 80 minutes. How many players on the roster? So how many players on one team? Okay. Oops, sorry, yeah, I missed a question there. Yeah, a couple of you are like, oh, wait a second. So yeah, before we get there, sorry, my bad. This is matching the time with the event. So question number 5 is actually here. This is number 5. And the question is Steve's first match. So when is it? Is it September 30th, 28th, 3rd of October, or 1st of October? Yeah, it's D. Very good. So make sure you write the letter D. And again, keep this capital. So sometimes students accidentally mix up D's and B's. Of course, that would be wrong. That's okay. But I suggest using the capital. So Steve's first match is October 1st. Bonus question. When does the league start? Bonus question time. When does the league actually start? September 28th. That's right. It's B. Yeah. So the league starts earlier. His first game isn't until October 1st. Very good. Some of you are paying attention to that information as well. Nicely done. Good job. Okay. That's fantastic. One really good trick to improve your listening is go above and beyond the questions when you're practicing for the IELTS exam. So ask yourself questions when you're doing these listening exercises like the one I just showed you. Okay? All right, now we go to question 6. So complete the table below. The league is the Autumn League. The game length is 80 minutes. How many players on the roster? So the man says, how many players on each team? And I don't mean just the players on the pitch, but all together. And here you just need one number. Okay? Very good, Mitesh. Very good, Simona. 16. And please don't write the word. Okay? So this is okay. You will get that correct unless you make a spelling mistake. If you forget an E, okay? Then it will be wrong. So it's much faster and easier to use the number. So just write 16, okay? And make sure your numbers are clear, students. So don't write something like this, okay? They'll mark this one wrong, okay? That looks like a 10, not a 6. So you need to have a very clear 6, okay? So careful with your numbers. If you're writing 7, you can write it like that to be clear. If you write it like this, okay, that could be marked wrong because that can look like the number 1. So careful with your penmanship, all right? The rule for the examiners, and I'll make a note of this for all of our students. I don't usually mention this, and it's important to keep in mind. So when they train the examiners and the markers, this is the rule, okay? So some students try to get a little bit tricky or fancy with the way that they write answers, but this is the rule for the examiners, okay? And this is a strict rule, IELTS rule. So if the examiner cannot clearly see a letter or a number, they are instructed to mark the answer wrong. Okay? So if the B is not a clear B, the D is not a clear D, the 1 is not a clear 1, or the 7, they will just mark it wrong. So you can't get all tricky with them, okay? Like true, false, not given. Sometimes examiners will see something like this, where it looks like a T and an F. They'll just mark that wrong, okay? What is that? Between true and a false, and maybe? I don't know. So they'll just mark it wrong, okay? You have to have clear letters. All right? No funny business. No funny business. All right. And then we had some multiple choice. With multiple choice, always pay attention to the actual question. And when you're reviewing, change it to a statement. So, I'm so lucky because, okay? When I read this question, why does the man say he's lucky? Obviously, you're not going to hear that question like that, but you will hear something like, I'm so lucky because. Ooh, I feel really lucky because. Okay? All right. Why does he feel lucky? He's able to find a team to play on. There's a minimum playing time required, or the playing field is close to where he lives. I know I skipped one. I'm going to go back to it. I just don't want students jumping ahead this time. This skip was purposeful. Okay? So why does the man say he's lucky? I did that on purpose. I'll go back to question 7. Don't worry about it. Charlie Sen, Priti Yogi, very good. So C, the playing field is close to where he lives. Okay, I don't want you jumping ahead. I want you to focus on what I'm saying. That's why I skipped that one. So C is good. Does anybody remember exactly what he says? And if you're visualizing, if you're seeing the information, you should remember this. Do you remember what the man says? How do we know that the playing field is close to where he lives? Yeah, so Latifa says, the field is only a block away from my house. Okay. Now, you can check that in the transcripts as well. Okay. Transcripts are in the back of the book, and you should do this when you're practicing at home so that you know why the answer is the answer. Okay. So here, are the transcripts. And you can see here it says, so Latif, I think you were paraphrasing the paraphrase in the listening, but that's okay. That's good. That means you have good English skills because you're hearing it in multiple ways. So here, Steve says, thank you. Oh, good. It states we play 2 streets from my flat. How convenient. Okay. And then Joe replies, that is very lucky. So, oh, good. It states that we play 2 streets from my flat. That means that he's saying it's close. Okay. So it's 2 streets. Okay. From the flat where he lives. That's perfect. All right, so back to the exam here. Okay. So let's go back to question number 7. Okay, so here it says minimum playing time. What is the minimum playing time that each player is required to participate in the matches? Now you can tell me. So for question number 7, what was the minimum playing time? Okay, the correct answer is 40 minutes. If you write just 40, it's wrong. Okay, If you write 40 minutes, it's correct. You have to have minutes here because 40 what? 40 seconds, 40 hours. You have to have 40 minutes, all right? If it says minimum playing time in minutes and you write 40, then it's okay. So students, be really, really careful on the exam. You have to pay attention to the provided information, okay? If the information here includes minutes, then you only write 40. But if it doesn't, you have to write 40 minutes. Is that clear? That's really important. And yes, Preeti, the S is required, okay? If you write 40 minute, it's wrong, okay? Now, bonus question time. The administrator, Joe, says each player is required to play 40 minutes, but he also says something else where we can figure out 40 minutes. What is the extra information that the administrator says where we know that each player plays 40 minutes? Yeah, Charlie Sen, very good. Charlie Sen's actually asking this as a question. So Charlie Sen is asking, what if, just a second, I'll get you back on camera here. All kinds of trouble. What if somebody writes half game? Okay, that's a very good question, Charlie. And I'll clarify that in just a moment, once you can see me here. Yeah, okay, here we go. All right. So, yeah, the other piece of information that the man says is each player is required to play half a game. Okay? The reason why you don't want to put half a game here is because half game is wrong. It's grammatically incorrect. Okay, Charlie? So here you'd have to say half a game. Okay? Because Joe says that. Joe says each player is required to play half a game. But of course, this is 1, 2, 3 words, right? Play half game is not correct. Okay? Thank you, Gonkairen. Yeah, my baby at times will make an appearance when the camera decides to take a random snooze. So does that make sense? So be really careful. Play half game. That's incorrect. Half game is wrong grammar. Okay? We do use the term half game in English. That's when half of the game is finished. We say, what time is it? It's half game. That means the time right now is half game. But the time itself is half a game. And because it's 2 words, that would be wrong. Okay? Even though conceptually it's correct. So in theory it's correct. Okay, so 40, so MJ Shahid is asking, is 40 considered a word? Yes. When you have these kinds of instructions, the number 40 is considered one word. So 40 minutes, you'll usually see and or a number, but it's okay to use the number. The reason why is because 40, right, is a word. So in this case, 40 counts as one word, but you can use the number. Okay? Karan is asking, can I write 40 mins like this? Yes, absolutely, and that's an easy way to do it. Okay? All right, good questions. Yeah. So 40 is counted as a word, and yes, you can abbreviate minutes, and it has to be the plural abbreviation, okay, with the S. I hope that's clear. If something's not clear, students, you can always send me an email later as well, okay? All right. Let's keep going. Number 9. What is the cost of the football league? So how much does the football league cost? Okay, it's £125 pounds. Okay? You have to have pounds here because it's not given in the question. Okay? 2 words. So you need the symbol pounds, and it has to come before the number. This is correct. Okay? This is wrong. All right? The pound symbol comes before the number. Okay? Just like the dollar symbol. And it's not included in the question, so you have to add it. Okay? How much does the man pay for registration fee? Question number 10. How much does the man pay for registration? Oh, sorry, how does the man pay? So credit card, check, cash, how does he pay? Simona says cash or in cash. In cash is okay, cash is enough, okay? CASH, all lowercase is okay, or you could write all uppercase, cash like that, that's okay as well. All right, so cash, as long as you have cash, or you could write it like this, it doesn't matter for these types of words. It looks a little bit weird, I don't suggest it, but that would be okay as well. Okay. Mekwish says, for this one here, can I write 125 pounds? Yes, you can write it this way. That's correct, 125 pounds. But this is much easier than writing the letters. Try to minimize your time. Okay. How did you do, students? So what did you get out of 10 for section 1? What was your score from 10? So what did you get from the total raw 10? Nabeen says, I got 10. Good job, Nabeen Regmi. Laxmi says 5 out of 10. Mitesh says 9 out of 10. Good. Okay, for section 1 or part 1, they're going to call it part 1 now. It's from 2020. For part 1, definitely you want to get at least 8. Okay, your goal should be at least 8 correct answers. I'm going to write a quick note on that, because if you're not getting 8 out of 10 correct in part 1, you need to really focus and check where your mistakes are. Okay, this is a tip. You should aim to get at least 8 correct answers from 10 for part 1, because the next sections or next parts will be more difficult. Okay. All right, students, looking good. Let's do part 2. So let's do it. Abd Emin, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Let's get into part 2. Okay, I'll just quickly erase this scribble, and we'll get right into part 2. Again, students, don't write your answers into the chat. Give everybody a fair chance to answer on their own. Okay, and now we will continue with part 2. Turn up the volume on your side. Use a headset if possible. Okay, and again, be fair to your fellow students. Do not... Camera seems to be a little bit jittery today. That's okay. You get a quick moment to collect your thoughts, think about your strategies before we begin with part 2 here. Okay. Here we go with part 2. Okay.
Now turn to section 2. Take some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Listening section 2. You will hear a radio presenter interviewing a woman about the infamous ship Titanic. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully to the interview and answer questions 11 to 16.
Good afternoon to all our listeners and welcome back to History Now, a weekly programme that reflects on subjects of historical influence. Today we are going to speak with Dr. Andrea Smithson, an historian at the University of Glasgow. Good afternoon, Andrea.
Good afternoon, Peter.
What are you going to talk about today, Andrea?
I'll be talking about one of the most catastrophic events in maritime history, the sinking of the Titanic.
I can't wait for you to begin.
Thanks, Peter. The Titanic was an enormous ship. The makers called it unsinkable. From end to end, it measured approximately the length of 3 football pitches. It had the capacity to carry over 3,500 passengers, as well as the over 800 people on the crew of the ship. Despite its massive size and impressive capacity, the Titanic was able to cruise at a speed of 40 knots. This was in large part due to the 59,000 horsepower engine. Just how much is 59,000 HP? Well, in literal terms, it's like being pulled by 59,000 horses. More realistically, it's the equivalent power of 500 cars. On the maiden voyage that left Southampton, England, on the 10th of April 1912, there were 1,343 passengers and 885 crew members. There were 3 different classes of tickets for those aboard the Titanic. A third-class ticket was the lowest level ticket. At the time, it cost between £3 and £8. A second-class ticket cost about £12. A first-class ticket cost anywhere from £30 all the way up to £870. In today's money, £870 is over £20,000. You may be wondering what the people in the first class were paying for. They had luxurious rooms on the highest decks, delicious meals for breakfast, lunch and dinner, as well as the finest entertainment money could buy. On the other hand, those in third class slept in cramped rooms which were quite plain and small and did not have access to the fine restaurants and entertainment on the upper decks of the ship. Now I'd like to tell you about a few lesser known facts about the Titanic. Although there were 4 large funnels, or smokestacks, on the Titanic, only 3 of them were functional. One of the funnels was put there just to make the ship look even bigger and more impressive. The ship carried over 70 tons of food for the passengers, including over 40,000 eggs.
You now have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 17 to 20.
On the night of the 14th of April 1912, on her maiden voyage, the Titanic hit an iceberg. About 3 hours later, early morning the next day, the ship sank. The reasons for the sinking are numerous. First, the watertight doors, which were supposed to keep water out, didn't work properly. Second, the night of the 14th of April was incredibly calm on the water. Icebergs are easily spotted when there are waves crashing against them. On this night, there were no waves. The strength of the metal in the Titanic was not as it should have been. The metal became brittle in the freezing cold and was easily broken by the iceberg. Another big factor was the inability of the Titanic to turn quickly. Once the lookouts had spotted the iceberg, the captain ordered the ship turned, but it was too late. If the ship had been able to turn faster, it would have missed the iceberg. One of the biggest tragedies about the sinking was that there were not enough lifeboats for everyone on the ship. In addition to this, many of the lifeboats left the sinking vessel with less than half of the people they were designed to carry. For example, the first lifeboat off the Titanic left with only 27 of the allotted 65 passengers. This unfortunate occurrence can be attributed to panic on the part of the passengers and crew. One can only imagine the sheer terror on board the ship that early morning. 1,523 out of the 2,228 passengers and crew perished that morning. Most died from the near freezing temperature of the Atlantic Ocean. Others drowned after being trapped in the lower decks. 705 people lived to tell their story, most of them women and children who were put on the lifeboats before the grown men were. Because of this, 94% of the first-class passenger women and children were saved, while only 14% of the third-class passenger men survived. Overall, 60% of the first-class occupants survived, while only 25% of the third-class ticket holders lived in the aftermath of this tragedy.
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
And students, always use that time to check your answers. Just going to hop back to our website here and stop the audio. And now we will answer these questions together. Okay, so let's take a look at question 11. What was the overall capacity of the Titanic? So how many people fit in total onto the Titanic? Was it A, 800, B, 3,500, or C, 4,300? Okay, all of you answering C, you are correct. Okay, because it was 800 crew members plus 3,500 passengers. So the total number was 4,300. Okay, IELTS is not just testing your English, it's testing your communication and logic as well. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, so very, very important tip. There are some basic or simple math questions in the listening and in the reading at times. Okay, so careful, careful, careful. All right, next, number 12. What was the cost of a third class ticket? How much did a third class ticket cost? 30 to 870 pounds? No, that would be way too much. 1 to 2 pounds? 3 to 8 pounds? Also C, very good for 12, yeah. So the speaker describes each category and describes that it was between 3 and 8 pounds. These two just don't look right to begin with, okay? All right. 13 to 15, this is a multiple choice question. You had to choose 3. So what were the 3 benefits of a first class ticket? Watertight doors, luxurious rooms, great entertainment, high quality meals, access to the casino, or lower deck rooms. What were the answers here? Yeah, very good, students. So B, C, and D. You can write this in any order on your answer sheet. Okay, any order is okay. All right, very nice. So B, C, and D. Makes sense, right? Nice rooms, good entertainment, and high quality meals. Access to the casino wasn't mentioned. All right. Which of the following picture is the best representation of the Titanic? So what did the Titanic actually look like? Now you can tell the only difference are the chimneys or the smokestacks. This has got 5, this has got 4, this has got 3. So A, B, or C? A, B, or C? The answer is B. Okay, so the Titanic had 4 smokestacks, except one of them didn't work. Okay, so one of them was just for show to make it look really big, but it did have 4. Okay, so the correct answer there is B. Maybe they should have not put that 4th non-functioning chimney in and put some more life rafts onto the ship instead. That would have been a smart idea. All right, now 17 to 20, it's a flow chart. You have to really pay attention to the information so that you can follow. Number 17, extremely calm night. There were no something that crashed against the iceberg, so they couldn't spot it. Ferdov says waves. Lexmi says waves, and everybody is correct that said waves. Okay, and waves are countable, interestingly, so waves is the correct answer. The watertight something failed. Number 18, what failed? And this is one of the big reasons why the Titanic sank. What didn't work that should have? The watertight something. The doors failed. That's right, the watertight doors. This is section 2, so don't overthink it, students. Tunde Adayami even did a little emoji doors. Yep. Okay, last 2 questions. Many something left the ship half full. Usually these last questions are testing for Band 8, Band 9, so they're a little bit more challenging. Many something left the ship half full. What left the ship half full? Yeah, lifeboats. Very good, students. Now here's a little trick. Lifeboats is one word. Okay? And it's many, so it has to have the S, and it's all one word. Lifeboats. If you write 2 words, I don't think they're going to give that to you. Okay, lifeboats is one word. All right. 1,523 people die, most from the freezing cold temperatures of the of the what? Where did it sink? Atlantic Ocean, that's right. Now, here the correct answer is Atlantic Ocean. Students, very importantly, big A, big O. If you write a small o, it's wrong. When the noun is part of the name, they're both uppercase. Okay? So big A, big O, small o, you'll get it wrong. I know it's tough love, but it's what it is on the IELTS. IELTS is tough love. Small o, wrong answer. Atlantic Ocean. Big A, big O. All right, students, count up your correct answers. Save it for tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to do section 3 and 4, okay? So we shall do section 3 and section 4 tomorrow. So keep your answers. If you've got 8 out of 10 on that, that's good. For section 2, you want to get about 6, 7 at least. Okay, if you're going for a band 6.5 or 7, you want to get at least 6 or 7 correct for section 2. All right. You can write all capital letters, but I think it's best to do that when you're transferring answers to the answer sheet. All right, students, that's it for today's class. My apologies for the technical difficulties in the class today. It happens. For lots more help, lots more great videos, definitely check out our premium packages at aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gltshelp.com for general. We separate the two because it makes sense. Different goals, people for immigration, people for study or for work. So check us out there, join the premium package, spend a couple dollars, save yourself a lot of time and headache, learn from good materials. That's it for today. Tomorrow, again, we will have listening parts 3 and 4, and we will have task 1 for members. Probably pie chart, I'm thinking, at this point. But I'll figure that out later. Have a great rest of your day. Stay smart, stay positive. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.